My name is Keitha Dunstan and I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic at Bond University. Managing risk in this space is really important. We, at all universities, need to be fully compliant with TEXA standards and so on. So you do need to make sure not only that you design the right processes, but that you actually do have ways of checking and auditing so that you can ensure that you are fully compliant at all points in time. So where you don't have a system that is very easy to check, it is very hard to follow through on that checking of the compliance, and I think that's where the risk comes up. As I said, because our main record of what was happening in the space was what computer type people had put into the system. It was quite opaque to people like me, so it wasn't easy for me to actually check things to ensure things were done the way that they should be done. And obviously that introduces a risk, because that's one of the important parts of academic governance, is that we do have complete transparency of everything that we're doing. So one of the very obvious benefits that I see right now is part of our approval processes for improvement of curriculum is that a subcommittee of Academic Senate, which is our program subject review committee, does look at all proposals for new programs or changes to programs or new subjects or significant changes to subjects. Under our old system, because we were so paper bound and 1,000 pages possibly for a meeting. So it was a lot of things to flip through. We were necessarily very involved in process and whether forms had been filled in correctly. Now that we're using Akari and literally rather than filling in a form when a new program is going to be created, what the faculty needs to do is to actually input the program into the system. And then as it goes through its approval processes and is approved, ultimately it is sort of uploaded as an approved program. But we don't have that separate, well, let's put something on paper and then somebody else transfers it from paper onto the computer system. It's actually inputted directly into the computer system. So instead of having the 1,000 pages at the meeting, we have people there with their devices, and they are flicking through the actual records in Akari. So it means that tenure of the conversation has become very different. So instead of us having debates about whether field 11C is filled in correctly, we're actually talking about the subject descriptions, we're talking about the program descriptions, we're talking about the program learning outcomes and why they're phrased the way that they are. So we're actually doing the things that we really should have been doing, whereas in the absence of having a system that simplifies the process part, we were stuck in doing a lot of process things. Just another example, the Secretary of Program Subject Review Committee now has much less to do, because it is simply the documentation of the agenda and simply forwarding approvals on the things that have been approved. So it's not, again, creation of another set of papers, which is a record of everything that's been approved. Is the system now knows what's been approved, and we don't have to create a manual record of that. So it's streamlined everything so that we can now worry about the things we should have been worrying about.